So this episode of Olde Carr Guy is going to be a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. We are doing the number one upgrade that anybody should do to any vehicle when they first make the purchase. I'm just sorry it took so long to get this far with this truck. So the update that we're talking about on any vehicle that you should be looking at is your headlight upgrade. I know a lot of you guys are out there saying, do not switch to LEDs because LEDs are so bright. They're too bright for oncoming truck. Look, give it a rest. We're going LED on the square body. It's going to be a little bit different though. And I'll tell you why. These headlights were probably one of the worst designs on these Suburbans and Blazers when they first came out. For the simple fact is they're not common. These are smaller than your average 4x6. On my 79 Chrysler Cordoba quite a few years ago, we did upgrade to LED. I hate these lights, although they're bright. They look like crap when they're off. They just don't go with the car. This is a 4x6. When the OBS Chevys first come out in 1987 for the 88 model year, the GM trucks had these small little headlights. Later on, you'd see them in things like the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. You'd see them also in the Camaros. Why they felt the need to reinvent the headlight back then was totally beyond me. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the first thing that I generally do to any vehicle is a headlight upgrade. Most of your headlights in today's vehicles are just replacement bulbs. The housings themselves are stock. They're fine because they're vehicle specific. They're custom molded to that vehicle, and all you're doing is replacing the tiny little bulb. And back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, or even when vehicles were first becoming a thing, headlights were generally pretty standard. They were these just single 7-inch round headlights. Even in Dale the truck here, we upgraded the standard round seal beam headlight to a housing that actually takes a regular halogen bulb, which is what we're doing to Dale Jr. here, so that if we blow a bulb and we're on the road, we're not going to have a hard time trying to find these weird, unique style bulbs that were only around for a few years. So the answer to that is these brand new housings from LMC Truck, and they have replacement halogen bulbs on the inside. Well, we're going to take that one step further with some help from our friends over at Auxito. Auxito has replacement bulbs for 9005 and 9006 applications. And in this particular case, we went with the 6500K so that they're white light, not yellow, and they're not super duper bright like the blues that tear your retinas out from across the highway. Auxito has all your standard bulb replacements. H11, 9007, 9005, whatever it happens to be that you need for a replacement bulb for your vehicle, Auxito has it. I will leave a link in the description box down below along with a discount code if you're looking for some replacement headlight bulbs that don't break the bank but are good quality. Make sure you check out Auxito, a proud sponsor of Olde Carr Guy for several years now. I've got them in all my vehicles, including my wife's 2007 Ford Crown Victoria, Winter Beater POS Ford Escape, Dale the truck, and soon to be a replacement bulb that we'll be using in the old Chrysler Cordoba. One of the things that we found when we were driving this thing back from Kansas back in May last year when I bought this thing, coming through Scranton, Pennsylvania, it was raining. Of course, it was dark. You couldn't see nothing out of these. Of course, the tinted windshield didn't help, but the headlights they're not great. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace these things. I know you guys know how to replace headlight bulbs in just about anything, but we're going to go through it here on this 1990 Suburban because there may be a few guys out there who might be a little bit intimidated on how everything comes apart. We're going to try and make it as easy as possible. First thing that we're going to need is a T15 Torx bit to get that trim out. Let's get at it. So there's only 4 of these screws that hold this thing in. There's one here below the park light, one over here going sideways, and one up here going sideways. And then when you pop the hood, there's one going down through the top of the rad support cowl here. So let's get them out. And this thing here should just kind of fall out in your hand. From here on out, it's just like every other seal beam headlight. It's got 4 screws that hold a trim piece around. We're going to take those off. We're going to start with the outside one. Once we get the trim piece off, this headlight should just fall out into our hands. And when we unplug these, you'll see that the plug-in is much different than any other type of a headlight that we've really ever worked with. And that's just these two little pins here. When you pick up your new headlight housings from LMC, they are going to come with the 9006 adapter that's going to plug into your headlight bulb. Before we go and we put these in, you want to make sure that the housing with the deflector in it is your low beam. So it's going to go on the outside. The housing without the deflector, well, that's your high beam. It's going to cast more light. That's for your 9005 bulb. When you buy these, it does not specify that it comes with the bulbs. The bulbs do come with the new housings. Don't make the mistake and actually purchase the headlight housing as well as new bulbs, well, because you're going to get bulbs with this anyways. Now's the time that we're going to replace these with the 9006 LED bulb. So when you open up your Auxito box, you are going to notice that there is an extra package here. And what's in this package is actually pretty unique. It's a pair of clean gloves so that you can handle all your electronic pieces and your bulbs without, well, getting them dirty. I ain't too concerned about that, but great touch. There is a user manual located inside. You can read through that. Also, if you have any questions, there's a QR code on the back so you can scan that. So one thing that I am noticing is that the bulbs that I bought are right angle bulbs. You want to make sure that you're going to get the ones that are actually going to fit. The ones that came out were straight. So when we go and stick this thing in here, we want to make sure that this and the plug-in is not going to be a problem getting it through the hole in the housing. Let's take a look and see if we're going to have a problem. So what I mean by that is this is going to hang down, and if we do get that plugged into place, which I'm just going to shove that in back there for now, am I going to be able to fit that in? And clearly I'm not, but I might be able to mount the housing first and plug everything in from the back side. Let's see if that works. So what it looks like is we've got ourselves a couple of tabs here that stick out that's going to keep us from clocking that in there. Other than that, I think everything's going to fit. So what we're going to do is grab the pliers and we're going to twist these things back, get them out of our way. Well, that bottom one is going to be the troublemaker. Okay, so what you saw I did there was I took and pushed these tabs back, and the bottom one, well, I basically twisted it off. It was kind of in the way, and in order to clearance that, we had to get that piece out so that we could clock in a new LED bulb. So it's in there, no big deal, no real damage done to the truck. Over here on this side, we're going to repeat the same process. This one seems to have the same tabs on it all the way around, so likely we're going to have to clip off that bottom one there as well. So I'm going to time lapse getting this side done, doing the same thing on this side, which I've actually got to remove the battery, and then we'll show you guys the finished product. Now that we've got these lights in, we've done a couple of things to upgrade this Suburban. And that is the obvious, and that's, well, better quality lighting when you're driving down the road. The second thing is it cleans up the front end. So yeah, I know these park lights are going to have to be buffed and polished a little bit to get rid of the haze to match these new lights. And by the looks of things, I can see right now, they're going to have to be aimed. Of course, we'll wait till nighttime to do that. But that's a whole nother video. This thing looks amazing. These lights, because they're new, because they're clear, brightens up the front end of the truck as well. Let's turn them on and show you what those high beams and low beams look like. So there is the low beam. There's the high beam. I'm a little bit disappointed that the low beam don't stay on. I think I can fix that and rewire it, but I'm pretty stoked that this truck now, A, gives better visibility, and B, we can make the thing look a little bit nicer too. Look at the clarity of those Auxito LED headlights. So once again, if you guys want your very own Auxito headlights,
OCG15 will get you 15% off, and
that link will be in the description box down below. Also, don't forget Olde Carr Guy merch. You can get hoodies, hats, t-shirts, beer koozies, all available at shop.oldecarguy.com. Help support the channel in more ways than just watching these great videos. Thanks for watching. I hope this was informative for most of you, especially all you guys who have the K5 Blazers and the Suburbans and some of the earlier OBS trucks, 88, 89, 90, they went to a single plastic lens. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rear view mirror. I love you guys. God bless. We'll see you in the next video.